morning, and welcome to the second day of Virtual Check 2020. My name is Brian Osbourn, and I'm the Director of Web and Digital Strategies at Emporia State. Our session this morning is called Identity Crisis, Blurring the Lines Between Marketing and Technology in the Digital World. There's no PowerPoint, and we want this to be a conversation with you. We're going to take you behind the curtain and give you an idea of what we do at ESU, some of the challenges we face, and even how the coronavirus has impacted our team. We'd like to share a video to start off, and then we'll come back here for a question and answer, ask me anything session. Now, you can get those questions to us by clicking the link in the chat or from our session page on the Check website. And now we'll go to the video. We formed the Web and Digital Strategies team about 2 years ago. I was formerly the director of our Systems and Client Solutions team, overseeing desktop support, server support, digital media, and IT marketing. As part of a strategic reorganization, I became the director of Web and Digital Strategies, keeping the digital media and IT marketing duties, and also taking on the challenge of building a new public website, a new portal, and forming a cross-departmental web team.
Our team is unique because every day brings something new.
Okay, Sandy, how are the videos coming?
Which videos?
The ones that are due this week?
They're coming along. I'll get it done.
I'm Saandhyarag, and I'm the Web and Media Specialist for Emporia State University. I work with design, development, systems architecture, and the management of online technologies. This includes user experience, marketing, graphics and media, web technology support, IT systems management, research, and guidance for implementing the university's digital strategy.
All right, we got 5 new web DAC requests.
And of the 5, how many are done?
Hello, I'm Sam Derksen, and I'm a web developer at Emporia State University. I handle several components on our website and a number of our other sites.
Okay, videos. We need the new It Only Takes a Minute out by Friday. How are we coming on that, Tyler?
Wait, what? Isn't Taylor working on that?
I'm Tyler Parker, a senior public relations major with a marketing minor and a social media student assistant on the Web and Digital Strategies team. On a day-to-day basis, I update our social media accounts, type up blog posts, and host our weekly web series, It Only Takes a Minute.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? Does anybody not have anything to work on? If not, stay on Teams and we'll be back here at 4. We love what we do. The team is very young, and I think they bring a perspective that guides what we do and aligns our output with what our current students expect. One of the charges of our team is to communicate important messages like cybersecurity or an upcoming event. But we also have to sell you on our product, whether that's our portal or our digital signage or some new technology service that the university is rolling out. There are always other options, and we have to convince our users that they should use ours. And that's the case even if we, as an institution, don't support the alternatives.
We know we're competing with hundreds of messages, and this is just internal at ESU. Our job is to find ways, tools we have at our disposal, or creative ways to get people's attention. We have to find ways to cut through everything that is coming at a student or employee on any given day to try to get that message through.
Social media plays a key role in engaging and interacting with the ESU community. Whether it's personal promotion for our productions or informing the students of changes and updates within ESU IT, social media is a platform that can immediately spread information.
We want to raise our brand awareness, continually engage with our loyal audience, and ensure no matter the time, place, or device, we're delivering our unique messaging. By staying consistent and keeping the communication channels open, we ensure everyone receives information loud and clear. This also helps potential students increase their excitement and receive a proper sense of expectations once they're here.
Welcome to It Only Takes a Minute. It Only Takes a Minute. It Only Takes a Minute, where we keep you updated with all things ESU IT.
We've always made videos as part of campaigns, but this year, especially following the COVID-19 crisis, we've been putting out multiple videos per week. We do a general news and tech highlight series called It Only Takes a Minute. We feature whatever the hot topic or issue is at that moment. We also bring in guests that want to come talk about their initiatives. And we always find a way to tie it back to IT or technology in some way.
The web series is called It Only Takes a Minute. And though it usually takes more than a minute, we cover anything from updating ESU employees on the details of their annual security awareness training to explaining new programs such as DegreeWorks to our students. It's important because we really do discuss valuable information that can be important to the ESU community, but I guess I'm a little bit biased.
Our second ongoing video web series is called Across Campus. We just started this one, but we've had a greater reception than we expected. Across Campus is a panel discussion that looks at some aspect of IT from outside IT. In the first episode, we had a roundtable of students from across the university, and the topic was how they were coping with suddenly needing to adapt to learning online. Our second episode was about data and regulations. We had our HIPAA officer, our FERPA officer, and our information security officer. What you would think would be a pretty dry subject turned into one of the most engaging and funniest videos we've done.
I do most of the writing, but we have the production process very streamlined. Sandy works on specific videos, but the bulk of our video series are filmed, edited, and produced by our student employees.
And part of the success we have is because of how we've developed our digital platform, which we call Hornet TV.
Almost a decade ago, we introduced a new version of digital signage at ESU. And it was great, very robust, but very expensive.
We needed something less expensive, but still able to deliver the messages across all our TV and video screens on campus. Plus, we wanted ways to keep the sign owners engaged in maintaining their content.
The solution we found was to expand Hornet TV beyond the concept of just digital signage to all of our internal communication platforms, with web and video experiences at the center of it. We're able to communicate the same message in different ways, but still preserve that interconnectivity.
For our digital signage foundational platform, we use Rise Vision for our content delivery. We use a combination of Google services, YouTube, WordPress, and ScreenCloud.
We let any department or student group submit content, which in most cases is digital posters. This appears across all various platforms and channels that make up Hornet TV. We also include our daily campus news and announcements, which we provide in partnership with marketing and media relations.
Video is at the heart of Hornet TV. So in addition to our own web series that focuses on IT and technology, we also reach out to other areas on campus to either include their videos or help make their content.
You can access Hornet TV via our portal, Hornet 365. But we've also expanded that experience to a full experience we call Hornet.Digital. From one place, you can access our YouTube channel, our video series, the daily Hornet announcements, our virtual events, publications, and much more.
We've struggled over the years to find ways of doing mass communications in a way that is easy to use and is repeatable. Most of our users had worked out ways of doing it within Outlook, but the user experience for the recipient was not always good. And in more recent times, we now have to worry about things like spam, phishing, and other security concerns.
That led us to looking at different hosted services, including MailChimp and JungleMail.
MailChimp is a popular email marketing platform, but the killer features for us is the ability to pull in the RSS feeds for a daily digest email.
Jungle Mail is a unique service for mass emails that plugs into Office 365 and SharePoint. Like MailChimp, the design capabilities are very robust, but it allows us to send messages using our existing distribution lists and groups already built into Office 365.
We share the administration and sending of emails with our partners in marketing and media relations. We allow departments to send using our mass communication tools, but they have to get approval from marketing and submit their content to us for the actual building of the message and the sending.
By having a streamlined process, we ensure everything is accessible and on brand. Plus, we don't get a lot of mass messages going out that aren't on message or making best use of the tools.
For MailChimp, we pay a monthly fee based on the number of users in our distribution lists. For Jungle Mail, we pay for a total number of individual emails sent. They give us an extraordinary number of sends and we use less than a quarter of those. So it is essentially unlimited for us.
Over 2 years, from day 1 to October 2019, that's how long it took us to relaunch the ESU public website.
It was a collaborative effort. We formed a cross-departmental team that includes IT, marketing, and representatives from institutional effectiveness, liberal arts and sciences, and the Teachers College.
In addition to the public website, we also built a new portal, but not in the traditional sense.
Hornet 365 is our portal, but we didn't really want something that we have to log into just to get started. We wanted something fast, direct, and easy to use.
We looked at our options and chose to build it all on Google. Hornet 365 satisfaction and usage numbers are the highest of any website we measure.
And as we rebuilt the public website from the ground up, we found a lot of content that should have never been placed on the web in the first place. This led to another service called Hornet Sites.
Hornet Sites are an extension of Hornet 365, the portal, and still using Google Sites, but these have targeted content, serve a specific purpose, or are an extension of a department's public webpage. We see the public website and outward facing for recruitment and public engagement, whereas Hornet Sites are mostly intended for an internal audience.
The rebuild of the public website was an opportunity to do things differently. We engaged with an advertising agency who had technical and programming expertise. And we opted to not structure the site in a hierarchical way. Navigation is now more natural. A visitor shouldn't have to know the ins and outs of ESU's organization just to find their way on our website.
And we're still working on it. We're improving the search functionality, and we're making tweaks here and there to improve the user experience. One of the most important things that we've had to adjust is our web forms.
The old website had mediocre forms. The new one has horrible forms, or it did until we added our forms package called Centel Forms. These forms are integrated with SharePoint, which still allow us to have public, anonymous forms. They work similar to Google Forms, but with the added functionality of the Microsoft ecosystem. We build Microsoft flows to generate great-looking response emails and are able to provide a spreadsheet of custom emails to the form's owner with all of the responses.
Relationships were the key to both designing and rolling out the new public website and Hornet 365. We had literally hundreds of meetings with stakeholders all across campus.
Accessibility was key as well. We pushed on the ad agency for every tiny issue, and in the end, we were able to mitigate almost every issue. We are happy to say that we have been rated by a third-party agency #1 in best accessibility out of 58 higher education schools in the state of Kansas.
We've put more controls in place to ensure consistency across our web presence. Only the core web team can make changes to the website.
We work with a network of administrative assistants, faculty, and marketing employees that we call Web DACs. These are those in departments across campus who are in charge with maintaining their part of the website. However, they still must submit any change requests to us via a form.
There was pushback in the beginning, and we still get it. But our turnaround for changes is advertised as 1 to 2 business days. Our typical turnaround is 2 to 3 hours.
It's a challenge. We wear a lot of different hats.
Our team is somewhat unique in what we do and in that we cross traditional boundaries. We are very much rooted in IT, but we equally occupy the communication and promotion world.
Email, phones, Ethernet cables, and the mainframe.
We haven't been any of those things for years, but you can bet you'll go into a meeting to discuss a website or a promotional opportunity, and there's always one person who will ask about the latest Windows update or my computer is doing this type question. We've learned to smile and tell them to call the help desk.
Presentation is just as important as the tech now. User experience and accessibility are just as important, and maybe even more so than what OS something is using or what language it was developed in. A bad user experience can kill a project on day one.
We work very hard to build relationships. Marketing and media is key. I meet with the chief marketing officer nearly weekly. We very much have a seat at the table, which is light years ahead of where we were at just a few years ago.
We want to contribute. We want to be that bridge between worlds. We do a lot of creative work.
It's not perfect. We see groups make a best effort attempt at a communication strategy or campaign, and it just doesn't go well. Our immediate thought is, wow, we could have helped with that. We've come a long way, and we've earned every bit of that, but we've still got a ways to go. The expectations aren't unique to us. IT's face has changed incredibly over the last decade. We're just a small part of that.
Web, digital, promotion, communications. That's how to remember us.
COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Zoom.
I saw this as an opportunity for us. As the digital team, we should be able to turn on a dime. And we did, but it's also a challenge.
Shooting videos is much more of a challenge over Zoom. That's really the only way to have interactivity, which for some of our videos can't be faked with creative editing.
We developed a whole other website for our students, faculty, and employees centering around learning, working, and teaching from anywhere.
In a month's time, we created around 18 videos. Some of them we were able to get done while we were still in the office, but most of them we ended up filming and editing remotely.
We ended up expanding the digital media and video part of our portal to its own website as we had too much content to try and fit it into its current space.
And then there were virtual events. The immediate thought was, now we have to do our events virtually. As is wont to happen, everyone scrambles to solve their own problems in their own way.
And then the chaos starts.
Zoom bombings.
Who heard of Zoom bombings 3 months ago?
In the end, we knew we had to develop a structure and technology. Fortunately, we were able to bring both tech and security, as well as user experience expertise to the table.
We know it's not perfect, but we've got a process in place, and we've done a dozen of these now.
There were a lot of things that we'd already made ubiquitous and didn't need to be adapted at all. Our mass email tools, website update process, and video services didn't need any changes at all.
But we are looking at expanding the ability to communicate for those that were exclusively using their digital signs with static content. The components are in place, but for that audience that only saw the digital signs, we need to refocus them to a digital experience online.
But we hope to be back on campus soon.
Go.
That was great. We hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank one of my students, Taylor Nelson, who is moderating another session right now, for putting that package together. And also Dakota Taylor, my other student, who is moderating the third session this morning. We've been put through our paces these past few months, and I appreciate the exceptional work that everyone has done, both for ESU and to make this conference into a great virtual experience. Now we'll move on to the question and answer / ask me anything portion of our show this morning. Like we said earlier, use the form on the website or right there in the chat to get your questions to us. You met us all in the video, but I'd like to start with introducing my team here on our virtual stage. Guys, can we remind the audience of your name, your position, and how long you've been with ESU? Sam, we'll start with you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Sam Derksen, and I'm the web developer for Emporia State University, and I've been with ESU for almost 3 years now.
Hey, I'm Saandhyarag. I'm the web and media specialist here. I've been with IT for close to 4 years now.
I'm Tyler Parker. I'm a social media and marketing student assistant, and I've been with ESU for about a year, started in the fall.
Okay, so we're going to move on to some discussion topics right now. Submit your questions and we'll address those. Otherwise, we're just going to have a conversation here. So we talked about Hornet Digital in the video. That was what started out as digital signage for us, which included video and has expanded now to include a whole video platform powered by YouTube. It includes digital publications, our new virtual events, news, and much more. But I want to focus a little bit on Hornet TV, the digital signage and video part of that. Sandy, can you elaborate a little on the services that make it up? It's not just one piece of software, but it's a group of services. Can you talk a little bit about that?
For sure, yeah. When we first started Hornet TV, we were using, I forgot the software package we were using before Rise Vision. Can anybody remind me what the software package was? Before, it was a very expensive package that we used, and it didn't have a lot of solutions to monitor or manage it remotely. And so whenever a sign would go down, we wouldn't have a way of knowing whether it was down, and we would have to go to every location and manually change or fix or whatever we would have to do. And then we went through different iterations of Hornet TV to improve it, make it more cost effective, more beneficial, more easier for the user to put on the content that they would like. And so now we're using a custom built version of Hornet TV where we utilize Rise Vision, we utilize Screen Cloud, we utilize WordPress, we utilize YouTube live streaming. All these features focus on individual components. So for example, posters, Google Slides, that's what we would use. For our RSS feeds, for our Hornet announcements, for the messaging, we use Blogger or WordPress, where it automatically pulls in all the information. So we have this dynamic system that improves the communication for campus.
So one of the things that may be interesting to share is, how do people get their content to us? We sort of build a process around that. Sam, can you talk about that?
Sure. So we actually have various Hornet TV channels. We have a campus channel that is streamed across multiple places around campus, but we also have departmental channels which are streamed at their specific location. So for the campus channel, we have a contact submit a form through SharePoint, and we review that just to make sure that it's okay and the content is good and fresh. And for the departmental channels, we actually allow them to upload their own content, one contact per department, and they upload their images to Google Slides, and those will just automatically populate on their digital signage in their area.
And what would happen if we got a digital poster or piece of content that we thought was maybe questionable or wasn't from an organization that was officially recognized by the university?
Yeah, of course. That happens sometimes, and we always use our best judgment. But if anything is ever questionable, where we really have to think about it, we definitely contact our friends in marketing and media relations and let them have a look at it and collaborate with them.
So I'll stick with Sam here. And can you talk about accessibility as it pertains to both our web presence and digital signage and videos, and how we're sort of addressing that?
Yeah, of course. So, especially in a time like this where everything has gone digital, it is so important to have accessible content on the web and just in all various platforms, because people need to be able to access that content, even if they do have a physical disability that doesn't allow them to really look at it. So we use various platforms such as Google Analytics, Site Improve, Wave, and these services help us identify different accessible issues with our site content. From that, we just tackle each individual issue to make it accessible for everyone.
I think in the beginning, we thought there was going to be this magic bullet tool that was going to give us all the information, but we've come to learn that it's going to be packaging all those things together to ultimately get us the data that we want to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Tyler, a question for you. So as a student, tell us about your experience in IT and how you think working here is going to help you in your future career.
So, as a student, I've held multiple positions on campus before. I've never had a job on campus like this. I'm a public relations major. That's like my concentration and what I focus in. And so that involves building graphics, anywhere, like newsletters, and multiple things like that. And I've ran social media accounts in the past. But as far as actually like developing my skills and working with Photoshop and multiple other programs, and I've learned immensely more, with this position than I have in the past. I want to say we kind of use, there's definitely some teaching there, but a lot of it is sink or swim strategy, where they give you a task and you really do have to, adapt and, try your hardest to learn that. But I think that's how I learned best, is just taking a stab at it and giving it my best, and then responding to the feedback and critique that I get from that. So as far as like moving forward in my career, I built my skills up, more than I could ever ask for with this position. And it really is one of the realest positions that I've had on campus.
I think Sandy and I could also chime in on that, because we both also started as students and worked our way up to full time. And yeah, I've learned so much working for the team, for IT department. Brian's a great manager and taught us a lot.
So our Czech viewers may have recognized Tyler from the intro video on the front of the website. Tyler, what feedback have you gotten from fellow students about some of the videos we've made? And now that you're kind of the star of one of our web series, what have you heard?
Well, initially when I first started, like I said, I started in the fall. So this was one of the first tasks that Brian gave me, was like, hey, we want to bring this web series back. We haven't consistently done it for a while. And so my face is all over campus then. So I was getting, Snapchats and texts like of my picture, just in their classroom. My fellow, friends in the nursing program, we actually have an off-campus location for that. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're all even in the hospital, So, it took some adjusting to see my face everywhere. But feedback wise, it gets people to watch the video. I think, people are asking me then, like, what is this content about? Like, why are you in this video? And it gives me the opportunity then to explain, oh, like that's our degree works video, and I can kind of go into further detail about what exactly that is. And hopefully that can inform them then on, what that is and how it can help them. In terms of measuring the success, we take analytics weekly for our weekly and monthly reports on all social media platforms, so we can statistically measure our success. But in terms of like actual feedback, I think personally that's how I like to measure it, from those students' interactions, from the hey, I see you, here, what's that about? I've even had a professor, one of my favorite professors on campus, email me and like, hey, I've enjoyed seeing you on the Hornet TVs across campus. Like, keep up the good work. So you can't, analytically, statistically put that stuff down, but I think that's my favorite type of feedback.
So Tyler just sort of addressed this here, and so I'll give you guys the opportunity to add anything. But what would you say are some of the things that go into determining whether what we've done as far as a marketing or communication campaign? Was it a success or not?
For me, I mean, I definitely like to look at the analytics. I know Tyler's a much more social guy than me, but for me, I like to look at the old services versus the new services that we implemented with our campaign, and just seeing kind of the contrast there. And most of the time, it's been an increase, and I've been really happy with that.
Sandy, anything you want to add?
I like analytics. I also like word of mouth. I think social interactions and social communication and how much people talk about it makes a lot of difference. So analytics helps to a point to get the core numbers, but if you know that people are talking about it and telling their friends or their professors, hey, have you used this? Have you used that? That's how I would measure our success.
So when we get ready to start a campaign, we sort of have a collaboration process. We have to think about what are we going to come up with a theme? Is this going to be sort of a clean cut, dry data that we're communicating to people? Or are we going to build something around it that provides entertainment, and what mediums and channels that we'll actually utilize as for how we're going to communicate that information or campaign. Does anybody want to add anything about the process that we use and how we would get started when somebody comes to us with a request?
So I would say, like with every campaign, it usually starts with that round table right outside Brian's office. It's iconic. And we're all called there, and we sit down, and Brian is like, okay, this is what we have coming up. This is what we need to do. And what I love here is that we do get to put in our feedback, and our feedback does matter. So it is really a group collaboration process. It's not necessarily him saying, this is what we're doing, this is how you have to do it, and this is how it's going to be done. He does take our input in. He does, kind of bounce ideas back and forth off of each other. And then in terms of, is it just going to be one video that we're releasing? Excuse me. One video that we're releasing on a certain subject that doesn't necessarily have to fall into a theme, or like Check 2020, which is one of the bigger projects that I've worked on that has been an ongoing theme that, since about January, so that we have to keep, on the same topic while releasing different information about it, and, all sticking within the same design theme and, stuff like that. It has been like a collaboration process, and I think that's the best thing about this.
Great. So what are some of the favorite campaigns that we've done that you've been involved with?
Since we're on the topic of kind of themes, the favorite one that I've been involved with was the information security campaign we did last fall that involved the Stranger Things, because one of the newest seasons came out then, and it was the hot topic, that was going around campus. So we kind of implemented that theme into the information security campaign, just to let people know that, hey, there's a lot of bad things out there, but if you're well prepared and knowledgeable about the subject, it's going to be all right.
No copyright violations, though.
For me, it would be the IT robot for sure. So we have Sam wear the costume, the IT robot costume, and then we would shoot, different campaigns for sure, but it revolves around the IT robot theme, and those are my favorites. Very humorous.
Yeah, it's always funny to walk around campus in a shiny silver costume. People look at you like,
And those videos can be found right here on Hornet TV.
That's brand awareness right there.
Tyler?
I think personally for me, it was literally my first video that I did, and I've referenced it, multiple times, but the degree works. It was one of my first couple weeks on the job, and they assigned me then to be in this degree works video. And if for those of you that might not know, degree works is a way for students to track their process on their way to graduate. So you can see an estimate of like the percentage that you're done with your degree,
what classes you have taken, what classes you need to take. You can kind of play around with it and switch your majors and minors to see what you would need. It's an excellent program that we implemented this year. And so we were really trying to build awareness around it. But that first video then that we did was a goofy, informative type video where we really got to go over the top with the sort of acting. And Taylor Nelson, actually, who is moderating a video right now. One of my favorite parts of them is him in the back, just carrying this big stack of books, all like wobbling like it's really heavy, and it ends up falling. But I just love like the goofiness of the video and actually how informative then it was. I really think it got the point across.
For me, it's really the web series that we started up really a few months ago to a large degree. I think with those, we get to both entertain and inform our audience. So we're communicating things to people at ESU, but it also lets people on the outside, because everything's posted on YouTube, see that we're doing some really unique things here at ESU. And when we do videos like that, it's an alternative to communicate beyond just sending regular emails. We still do all the traditional communication that we normally would, but I think this adds on for those people who want something a little bit extra or different. So the last topic we'll hit on just a little bit here in the time we have left is what is very new for us, and that's planning our virtual events. When we came to the realization that virtual events were going to be a very necessary thing, it was really up to us to learn more about the technologies available to us and figure out a way to adapt those to both give users and participants a great user experience, but also weigh the security needs that are involved. We had to look at what the risks are, what the consequences are should something happen in a session like this. And YouTube was very familiar to us. Zoom was not. Prior to March, I have probably been in less than 5 Zoom meetings in the last 5-6 years, however long we've had Zoom. So Zoom has been a learning experience for me in particular. Other things that we looked at are who is our intended audience? Can we craft things in a way that is, most secure and limits the number of people who are interacting? But we realize that interaction is a very important thing, and we have to figure out a way to do that based on the type of event that people are asking us to host. The other thing I'll say is when we look at these type of virtual events, we really take it from the perspective of the people that are going to be joining, interactive, or just watching may not have a lot of technical skills. They may be coming from a device like a smartphone or tablet. And so we want to craft that experience and the ease of use to be something that can be watched and observed by everybody. So anything you guys would like to add on the topic of virtual events and our experiences with that here at ESU?
We've held just a couple so far before this one. We've held 2 or 3 virtual events since March, and I think that they've all gone pretty well, considering the fact that we've been pretty crunched for time. And like Brian was saying, we were also still figuring out kind of how to do this, but I think now we have a pretty solid foundation of how to host virtual events. Sandy, do you have anything to add about the video aspect?
I mean, there are a lot of different tools that we could have used, and I feel like we found the perfect mix for having virtual events, a good tie-in between the web, video, Zoom, YouTube. So I think we found pretty much the perfect mix, and I really wouldn't do it any different than it is right now.
Great. Well, I think we're going to wrap things up here. We're getting close to our time. So let me thank you to my team here for doing this morning, and thank you to everyone watching online. We hoped you enjoyed a glimpse into our world. If you have any questions, feel free to send them via the form and we'll respond to you offline. And if you'd like to hear more about our web presence specifically, we've got another session right back here at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So have a great check and have a great rest of the day.